Czars Gadget Repair presents to you the iPad mini glass digitizer removal. So if you crack your glass and need to replace your iPad mini's glass, this is an instructional video on how to remove the glass. It's very, very complex, harder than the iPad 2 and iPad 3 repairs. So if you don't feel comfortable repairing this, you could always send it to us and we'll be more than happy to repair it for you. Some of the basic tools that you need is, of course, your heat gun, screwdriver, Phillips head, and this then opening tool, which is very nice to use to open the iPad mini. Okay, first you start off by heating. Of course, it's like all the other iPads, you have a heating element on it, or sorry, heating adhesive around it. So you want to take your heat gun and gently go around the iPad mini, and that'll loosen the heat up. Okay, you want to open the iPad mini from the top here, okay, not where the home button is, because there's an LCD and a digitizer cable on this side, and also you have your Wi-Fi cable and all those wonderful cables they put underneath. So this is pretty much open on this area. So okay, I put some heat on there, and I'm just going to take my tool, gently pry it around. Okay, be careful with the camera here, as it will break if you're not careful, or you can damage it if you're not careful. So you can put a couple of tabs there. Okay, another tab there. Okay, gently take your tool, go around it, carefully doing it so you don't damage the LCD. Same thing, there's adhesive there. Okay, that should have loosened it up. You can put a little bit of heat here. Of course, this is going to be a lot harder if the glass is shattered. So you just apply the same techniques, but just try to be careful with, not damaging the LCD and the other components. Okay, so here's a look at this, the inside. Okay, as you could see here, as I told you guys, there is a cable here. Okay, and that's the digitizer. And now we'll have to remove 2 screws to access that. So, or sorry, 4 screws. So you take your Phillips head, and in these corners you will see one, two. It's nice to have a magnetized cable, that way you don't lose track of your screws. Three, 4, okay. Now you can use these familiar pry tools to pry the LCD open. I've already taken this apart, so it's a little bit easier for me. When you're going to take it apart, there is going to be a strip here, okay, that holds the screen down. There's a few of them. It's these strips of adhesive that hold the screen down. So gently, peel them off, Okay, you can even use some tweezers, which I find very handy. But just carefully remove the strip that holds the LCD in place before you do anything. Also be careful with your 4G LTD antennas, which is this is what this version is. So when you're removing the screen, make sure that you don't damage these, okay? You have your Wi-Fi here and your Bluetooth and all that. So so you remove the adhesive there, and then the same thing at the bottom. There's some adhesive here, okay, and what you do is you lift it back. So you could use your little pry tool or some tweezers, but be very careful using the tweezers. So after you remove that, okay, you could gently lift, and usually what I do is I lift it one side at a time, that way you don't crack your LCD. Okay, and then the LCD just lifts up like this, okay, so you could see it. Okay, and now what I'm going to do, just to be careful, is you know, I can go ahead and turn it off, since we're going to be getting into the board section, and of course we don't want to shock anything. And the next set of screws you have to remove are there's 8 on each side, so it's a total of 16 here. Hold this in place. So you're going to remove all 8 of these. Remember, if you have a magnetized screwdriver, that helps. Okay. There you go. Try to keep them all in one order. Alright, so now we could lift our shield. Like I said, I've previously opened this, so it's going to be a little bit easier to remove. If you're doing this for the first time, there's a little bit of tape here, so you can take your tool and just scrape that off, and then it comes off, as you could see. And then a few more steps here. There's a little shield here that keeps the digitizer and LCD in place. So there's 3 screwdrivers, or I'm sorry, 3 screws here that you want to remove. Okay. There's a 3rd. Oops. And then this shield just comes off like this. Okay. And then we reveal the LCD connector here. Okay. Just take your little tool and gently just pry it open. Move this aside carefully. And then here is your glass digitizer connector. So what you want to do is you want to undo the digitizer connector first, and then get your tool and then gently lift it up, because there is some adhesive underneath here. Okay, so you do that, and then the digitizer comes off, and all you do now is get the new digitizer. Right now they're selling the digitizers without the home button, or sorry, without the board attached to it. So you're supposed to solder the little board, okay, right here. They just sell them. I guess they expect people to solder it, but we can do that for you. And also solder the home button on there. So when you're removing the old glass, you may have to use your old home button and remove it and solder it onto the new board. So it's a very hard repair. So if you're not comfortable with it, again, visit us and we'll be more than happy to repair it. So just put it back the way you saw it take it apart. Just reverse it, and you should be good to go. So good luck. Any questions, visit us at czarsgadgetrepair.com. Thank you.